Good afternoon, students. Today I'm going to discuss about clause. Very interesting and a bit tricky and an important thing in grammar as well. So let's start with the lesson. Now, what is clause? First of all, it is a group of words which has subject-verb combination and it has a complete meaning as well by itself. So there are three criteria for this clause. It should be a group of words with a subject and a verb combination, and it has a complete meaning by itself. Now, you can consider a simple sentence as a clause as well. For example, he plays cricket regularly. Now, is this a clause? For this, we have to check whether it has satisfied all the three conditions that we just discussed. First of all, let's see whether it is a group of words or not. Yes, it is. There are four words and they are arranged in an order. Now, moving on to the second condition, see, it has a subject, that is he, and a verb, plays. So it satisfied the second condition as well. Now let's come to the third condition. See, the words are placed and arranged accordingly. So it serves a complete meaning by itself. So we can say that it is a clause. Now there are two types of clause: independent or main clause and dependent or subordinate clause. Both of them are group of words, but the independent clause can stand by itself in a sentence, where the dependent clause or the subordinate clause cannot stand by itself in a sentence. For example, you may sit. It is a group of words with a complete thought and can stand by itself in a sentence as well. Now, if I extend the sentence, you may sit wherever you like. Now, this wherever you like has also a subject and a verb. Subject is you and the verb is like. It is a group of words as well, but cannot express a complete thought and cannot stand alone. It needs an independent clause to convey its complete meaning. Now, we will discuss about independent clause or the main clause. So previously we said that the independent clause has its own subject and verb combination. It's a group of words and expresses a complete thought as well. Let's look at the example. The soccer team traveled to Kolkata and they won in their division. See, there are two independent clauses. The soccer team traveled to Kolkata, they own in their division. So these two independent clauses or the main clauses are joined by a comma and a coordinating conjunction, that is and. So these two independent clauses, they both single-handedly can make a sentence with a complete thought. Like the soccer team traveled to Kolkata. It's one sentence. They own in their division, another sentence. So these two sentences, they they have their own subject and verb combination and expresses a complete thought as well. That's why they are independent clauses. More examples. I stuffed all the envelopes and Tarun took them to the post office. Again, what I discussed previously with the coordinating conjunction, that using and connecting these two independent clauses. I stuffed all the envelopes, Tarun took them to the post office. It is connected by a coordinating conjunction and. Same goes with the next one. I did all the work, but he took all the credit. Again, a conjunction which is connecting these two independent clauses. I am new at PowerPoint, but I like it. So, previously, as I said, similarly, these all independent clauses can make a single sentence conveying a complete thought. Let's move on to our next type, that is the subordinate clause or the dependent clause. Now, these dependent clauses, they actually are introduced by words like whom, because, what, if, until. These words introduce these clauses, and that is why they are known as subordinate and dependent as well. They have a subject verb combination like the main clause, but they are dependent on the independent clause because they cannot convey their thought without the help of them. Subordinate clauses, they do not express complete thoughts and cannot stand alone. Like you can see the examples, whom he asked. We are using whom he asked. So somehow there is a gap of the thought which is not clear, which is not conveyed properly. Next, because he answered. Now, what was the reason? What was the cause? He answered what he had heard. All these do not express complete thoughts and cannot stand alone as well. More examples of subordinate clauses, like the officer whom he asked for directions was very kind. See, here the subordinate clause is whom he asked for directions, and the main clause, it is merged here like the officer was very kind. So, whom he asked for the direction is dependent on the main clause, the officer was very kind. Again, moving on to the second one, quite similar to that. Because he answered so politely, the man called to compliment the officer. Again, the subordinate clause is being dependent on the main clause, the man called to compliment the officer. The chief of police was pleased by what he had heard. Again, that's quite similar to the previous one. Here, I guess you all can identify which is the subordinate one. Now, the subordinate clause, they are divided into three clauses: adjective clause, adverbial clause, and noun clause. I guess you all know about the what is adjective, what is adverb, and what is noun. Because while going through adjective clause, adverbial clause, and noun clause, the properties of adjective, adverb, and noun accordingly will be followed. Let's move on to our first subdivision, adjective clause. What I said earlier, that adjective clauses function just as adjectives do. What they do? They modify nouns, they modify pronouns. Adjective clauses are often introduced by relative pronouns as well. As for example, this is the class that I like the best. Here, that is the relative pronoun. I like the best is the adjective clause. That I like the best. Again, my classes, which meet in room 209, are all freshman classes, which it is the relative pronoun. So it is introducing the adjective clause meet in room 209. They are the ones whom I prefer to teach. Whom? So these are all the relative pronouns. Whom, who, whose, which, that. So these words are called relative pronouns because they relate an adjective clause to the word that the clause modifies itself. Besides introducing an adjective clause and relating it to another word in the sentence, the relative pronoun has a function in the adjective clause as well. Some more examples of uses of relative pronouns. Let's see. John, who enjoys reading, owns a membership to the Book of the Month Club. Here, the relative pronoun who relates the adjective clause to John, who is used as the subject of the adjective clause. Like who enjoys reading? John it is. Now, there are some exceptions, like in many cases, it's happening in the in the present scenario that the relative pronoun in the clause that may be omitted because of overuse, because of the mutual understanding. A relative pronoun in the clause may be omitted. The pronoun is understood and still has a function in the clause. One example is here. Here is the salad you ordered. So you can clearly understand that a relative pronoun that is missing here. Here is the salad that you ordered. So this relative pronoun that is being omitted because it is already being understood that someone has ordered the salad and the server is serving it. So the pronoun relates the adjective clause to salad and used as the direct object in the adjective clause as well. Now let's come to our second subdivision, that is adverbial clause. We all know that what adverb's function is or what adverb's job is. Adverb's job is to tell when, where, why, how, to what extent or degree, and under what conditions. The adverb clause is a subordinate clause that modifies a verb, adjective, or an adverb by asking the previous questions. Look to the example. After I proofread my paper, I typed it. So, when I typed it? After I proofread my paper. So the adverbial clause after I proofread my paper tells when I typed it. Quite similar to the function of an adverb. More examples like because mandala art takes so long to prepare, joy makes it only on special occasions. So joy likes to create the mandala art in special occasions because it takes so long a time to prepare. And that is why joy makes it only on special occasions. You can understand where the adverbial clause is situated here in this particular sentence. You and your brother may come with us if you want to. So under what condition you and your brother may come? If you want to. That shows the condition. Like adverbs, adverb clauses may also modify adjectives or adverbs as well. As I said that it has the same function of an adverb. His speaking arm is stronger today than it ever was. Like his speaking arm was stronger. Stronger is the adjective to what extent? To what extent it was stronger? We can get get an idea from this sentence, from the use of this clause, than it ever was. My cousin Adele reads faster than I do. Faster is the adverb. How much faster? Reads faster than me. My cousin reads faster than me. So that modifies the adverb as well. These are some subordinating conjunctions, as these words introduce the subordinate clauses after, although, as if, as long as soon as, like you are in an emergency or in a hurry. You are telling that as soon as possible. So this is where you are introducing subordinate clauses with the help of these subordinating conjunctions. Because before, even though, if, in order to, once, since, so that, then, though, unless, until, when, whenever, where, wherever, whether, and while. Now our third subdivision, noun clauses. Quite similar to the previous two subdivisions, as noun clause, it is a subordinate clause that used as a noun. It functions as a noun. A noun clause may be used as a subject, complement, indirect object, object of a preposition, and direct object, and a predicate nominative. Now, what is this predicate nominative? So, predicate nominative is a noun that comes after a linking verb, and it is equal to a subject of a sentence. Suppose I'm giving you one example. Harry was a school teacher. Harry was a school teacher. Here, the predicate nominative is the school teacher or school teacher, which renames the subject Harry using the linking verb was. This is the predicate nominative. So a noun clause may be used as a predicate nominative as well. More noun clauses. What Marianne did was brave and earned her praise from everyone. As a subject, working as a subject, the noun clause, Marianne. The winner will be whoever runs fastest. Predicate nominative. The winner is the subject. The winner is renamed by a noun clause, whoever runs fastest. He or she will be the winner. That is the predicate nominative. She finally discovered what the answer was. So the object is indicated here directly. Direct object. She finally discovered what the answer was. Next, in the next example, you will be seeing the object is pointed indirectly. The clerk should tell whoever calls the sale prices. Indirect object. He checks the ID cards of whoever visits. Object of the preposition. So, these are some examples of noun clauses. Thank you so much.